Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Cavanaugh's Corner. Today in the show I'm going to be talking about a movie that I picked up recently at the sale over at Barnes & Noble. Every 6 months or so they have a sale. It's like a biannual sale. And they have a bunch of movies on sale for the Criterion collection, which is, again, one of my favorite, collections that are out there in terms of companies that release films. I think these guys do really important work. However, I kind of wish they would go to 4K Blu-ray. It took them a while to get the Blu-ray in the first place, but now they're on Blu-ray, and they're still making DVDs. But I think honestly these guys would benefit really greatly from going to 4K. But whatever, they're going to do what they want to do. But anyway, at this sale at Barnes & Noble, they make all their Criterion Collection releases. All of them go 50% off, and that to me is really exciting because that gives me the opportunity to pick up a bunch of movies that I normally, wouldn't have the opportunity to get. These movies can sometimes get pretty expensive from Criterion, and I have to say, most of the time my experience with the Criterion Collection has been a great one. I very rarely have gotten a Criterion film that I didn't like or wasn't of good quality. They usually release some pretty good movies, although there are some questionable movies on their catalog, but now they got well over 1,000 movies, so... but anyway, this is one of the pickups that I got, and this is a movie that I had seen many years ago, and I saw it on HBO or Cinemax or one of those channels, and when I saw the abridged version, as the director of this film likes to say. And this is now in my collection, hands down, the longest film that I own. And the last couple videos I've put out, I've been reviewing movies that are about 3 hours or so, or 3 hours exactly. This film is hands down the longest film, A, I have ever seen, and B, one of the most... this is a hard sit. This movie was tough for me, and my opinion, again, of this film may not be extremely popular with some of you, but I'm going to talk about it today. And the movie that I'm going to be talking about is Until the End of the World. This is a Wim Wenders film, and stars William Hurt, Sam Neill, and I'm probably going to totally mispronounce her name, but Solveig Martin. Again, another great actress here. Again, just a ton of great actors and actresses in this film. Wim Wenders is a great filmmaker, and he's made some really incredible films through the years. And this is a very controversial film of his. This movie, when it originally came out, was cut down to about, I want to say, a little over 2.5 hours. I think it was like 2 hours, 40 minutes, okay? This film that I have in my hands here is the full director's cut. This is the original film in its entirety, and the movie clocks in at 287 minutes. If you're not that great at math, that's almost 5 hours. It's 4 hours and I think 47 minutes or something like that. It's basically 5 hours. It's actually spread across 2 Blu-ray discs. So I'm going to show you the disc here. There's disc 1 and disc 2. The movie is spread across 2 discs because of its sheer length. Has a nice little booklet as well with a bunch of photography and little articles about the film and some pictures and stuff like that. And I have to say, this movie was not my cup of tea. I'm going to be honest with you. I normally have fairly good things to say about a film. I will say Wim Wenders is an amazing filmmaker, and this movie looks beautiful. The cinematography of this film is incredible. Shot composition is dead on all throughout. It is amazing. My problem is that this movie, I really had a hard time caring about anything that was happening on screen. I could not get attached to the characters in this film if I had a gun to my head. I just couldn't do it. For some reason, something just did not attach for me. And honestly, the message of the film as well is very interesting to me. I think it's a great message that you know, there's a great thing about images in this world, and images can sometimes be a really wonderful thing, and they can be amazing and almost miracle-like. And then there's also a dark side to images where they can be addicting and negative, and I really like that. And the fact that this movie deals with technology, this movie came out in 1991, and you know, the fact that this movie has technology in it that did not even exist back then. Now today you watch it and some of the stuff has happened, like people constantly on their phones video chatting with people constantly videotaping, being on, you know, working a camera all the time, a little handheld camera like the main character does of the film. Again, this is stuff that we do now, and I mean, the filmmakers got it dead on in this movie, that we live in that kind of world now. However, at 5 hours long, I found the movie to be very kind of droning and almost aimless at times, and just watching these characters go from one locale to the other, it was almost like a Mission Impossible movie or a James Bond film with absolutely no pressing matter. And the movie does have a factor in it that I thought would give it some kind of tension, where, you know, the movie is based around the fact that this nuclear satellite is falling to Earth, and, you know, it may hit the Earth and kill everybody, and it's going to be this nuclear catastrophe. It never really, I mean, it factors into the film to a degree, but it never really pushes the plot along in a way where it's like, we got to get to this thing before this happens. It just feels all very aimless to me. And again, that's just my opinion, but overall, again, I'm not a big fan of this film. I think artistically it's a triumph. I think it's amazing that the movie goes on for 5 hours, and I was kind of interested in it. Even at the 4-hour mark, I was still kind of, you know, wanting to see what happened, but the movie does just drone on and on for a little too long for me. And I just think the fact that I could not get attached to the characters was a big faltering point for me for this film. But how does the movie look? Now that I've given my opinion on the film, really the review of this is this Blu-ray release from Criterion. And I have to say, this is a new 4K transfer, again, supervised by the director of the film, by Wim Wenders. And I have to say, it's incredible. You know, as much as I was not crazy about the film, the movie looked beautiful. All the locales, I mean, this thing was shot across 4 continents over the course of a year. I mean, this is a massive production we're talking about here. This movie is beautiful to look at. I mean, it is just shockingly stunning. From the deserts of Australia to oh my God, Paris to everywhere they go in this movie is beautiful. I mean, you see every place you could possibly think of is seen in this film, and it's beautiful. It's just a gorgeous film. The music in this movie is incredible. David Byrne, Talking Heads, U2 did a lot of music for this movie. Again, it's incredible. REM, Depeche Mode. I mean, this has got a killer soundtrack. Actually, I think when this movie came out, the soundtrack was more successful than the film itself. I can totally see that, especially with the edited down, you know, of the movie, the way the movie was edited down for its release. I think, honestly, you know, this is a fabulous Blu-ray. It does have an all-new 5.1 DTS HD Master Audio soundtrack as well, and that really helps bring out the wonderful music that's in the film. I thought the dialogue was crystal clear throughout. I really didn't have to pump up the volume or anything like that. Now, again, it's just a standard 1080 Blu-ray, so there's no HDR or anything like that on the disc. It's just, you know, again, 1080 picture. I did watch it upscaled to 4K, and I do have to say the picture looks basically flawless. I mean, this movie looks beautiful. I had no real issues with the video quality at all. The audio quality was spectacular as well. Dialogue was crystal clear again, as I mentioned. Music sounded great. The musical score sounded great as well. Again, no real issues or anything like that. There's a ton of special features on here. There's a really great interview with the director. Nice little introduction to the film as well with the director. Again, really nice stuff. There's a nice little conversation between Wim Wenders and David Byrne, which I love his music as well. I love the Talking Heads. I'm a big Talking Heads fan. And it's nice to see those two talk about the movie and their experiences on working on the film. And just a bunch of other stuff. There's a great booklet that comes with it with some nice articles. Overall, though, I mean, if you're a fan of this film, this is an extraordinary release from Criterion. For me, again, the movie was just not... this is not a movie I'll be revisiting anytime soon, but it was an experience to sit through a film this long and get that much of a story out of it. It's really incredible, especially how the story changes and kind of the characters ebb and flow throughout. Very, very interesting. One actor in particular that I really loved, I think he has the best performance of the film, is Max von Sydow. Again, just an incredible actor. I really loved his work, and he has an amazing part in this film. It's sad that he doesn't really come in until near the end of the film. But I think his performance overall in that movie is the best out of everybody. I think he's got the best performance, and it's not a big part either. But I really loved him. And again, this movie is quite a wild, grandiose film. Almost an exercise in excess to a degree. But I enjoy it. I just don't think it's a movie that I'll be rewatching over and over and over again. But I'm glad I have it, because it is a grand film, and I'm glad it finally got released in its full version, because I do remember watching the older, 2.5-hour version from years ago, and being kind of confused by it. It kind of was all over the place, whereas this feels more of a fully, well-oiled film. It just feels like, again, it's just so immensely long. That, by the end of it, you're almost like drained. It just feels like you went through a marathon by the end of this film. But I enjoyed it. It was definitely worth $20, as crazy as that is. I just think that, honestly, if you're not a fan of this film, it's definitely not worth picking up. That's my only thing. If you like it, if you already know this movie and you think you're going to like it, then pick it up. Thank you so much again for coming back to Cavanaugh's Corner. That's all for today. Next time I'll be reviewing another movie that I picked up on this Criterion sale, so stay tuned for that. As always, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. And until next time, take it easy.